In the previous video, we have studied about the society and economic and social life of the Delhi Sultanate. Now we will learn about the political system and the governance under the Sultan of Delhi. The Turkish Sultan in India declared themselves lieutenant of the faithful. That means the Abbasid Khilafat of the Baghdad and included his name in Qutba. So the Turkish sultans which were present in India, they declared themselves as the followers of the Khilafat of Baghdad, and they even included his name in Qutba. These, however, did not mean that the caliphs became the legal ruler. So, though they have declared themselves as the Abbasid Khilafat of Baghdad, but they were not the legal ruler. The caliphs had only a moral position. So, who were the caliphs? Caliphs were the person who spread about the Islams in different countries. Political, legal, and military authorities were vested in the Sultan. So, regarding the different types of orders, whether they are related to political, legal, or military, they were all under the Sultan. He was responsible for administration and was also the commander-in-chief of the military force. So the Sultan was the responsible to run the administration, and he was the person who will be the head of the military force. He was also responsible for the maintenance of law and justice. So he was also the person who will look after the law and justice in his empire. No clear laws of successions developed among Muslim rulers. Thus, military strength was the main factor in succession to the throne. So, their main agenda was that not only to make the army strong, but their main agenda was to make their army, you can say, in such a, or you can say, to increase the number of army so that they can defeat any enemy who were attacking their empire. With the extension of the Alauddin Khilji and Mubarak Shah Khilji, all other sultans styled themselves as deputies of the Khilafs, assuming the titles such as Nasir-e-Amir, Momin, assistant of the leader of the faithful, and or Yamul ul Khalifa, that is the right hand man of the Khalifa. So just like Alauddin Khilji and Mubarak Shah Khilji, other sultan, they also assumed the title of caliphs or the followers of the caliphs. When the Turk conquered the country, they divided it into a number of tracts called iktas. So when the Turk, they captured our country India, they divided the country into different types of iktas, which were assisted among the leading Turkish nobles. So each iktas, that means each place, were named as iktas, and each iktas were ruled by a Turkish noble. The holders of the office were called muktis or walis. So the holder, that means the head of the iktas, or you can say the head of the Turkish nobles, were the muktis or walis. It was these tracts which later became the caliph's province or subas. So first they were known as iktas, later on they were converted as the subas. Below the province were the Singh, and below them the Praganas, which we have already discussed. We are told that the villages were grouped into units of 100 to 84, traditionally called Chaurasi. So each village were consisted of 100 or 84 people, and they were known as Chaurasi. The Pragana was headed by Amir. The Sultanate of Delhi was the police state whose strength or weaknesses depend exclusively on the military power and the personality of its despotic sultan. So especially in the Sultanate of Delhi, it was a police state. That means the strength or how we can recognize, or how we can see that which empire or which dynasty was more powerful, it was only dependent upon how the military system was there, whether they were strong or not, or how the empire was whether the empire was weak or whether the empire was strong. It was totally dependent upon these two factors, through which we can finally conclude that which emperor was more strong as compared to other. The Sultan was assisted in the discharge of his function by a number of dignitaries. To begin with, the sultans of the slave dynasty constituted 4 ministers at the top level. So the sultans was assisted by different types of officers whose work was to give guidance to him so that he can run the administration. And the and in order to give guidance, 4 different types of ministers were appointed who will give guidance to the king, especially in the slave dynasty. When the sultanate was well established, 2 more department heads were raised to the status of central minister, that is Sudrus, Sadur and the Diwane-e Kaza. So when the Delhi Sultanate was well established, then two more departments were added with the 4 ministers, and they were known as Sudrus, Sadur and the Diwane Kaza. The commander of the royal army, next to the Sultan, the crown prince, the 6 or 7 dignitaries constituted the nucleus of the council of advisors called Majlis-e-Aam of Majlis-e-Khas, which comprise the most trusted and the highest officer of the state. So these are the person who were added in the center, or you can say center part of the Delhi Sultanate, and whose work is to give the guidance to the king, and it plays an important role in order to take any decision if any problem, or if any attack had taken place during those periods. So who were they? They were the commander of the royal army. Next to Sultan was the crown prince. There were 6 to 7 different types of officers. They were all a part of the Majlis-e-Aam of Majlis-e-Khas. The wazir, also styled as wakil, was the prime minister. So the wazir was the prime minister, and his department was called the Diwane Wizarat. He was the head of the finance department. So the wazir was the head of the finance department and usually held overall charge of the entire administrative setup. So his work is to look after the finance department and how much money is required in which field. For example, for making food, how many money should be used; to maintain an army, how many money should be used. It was all decided by wazir. The head of the army establishment, or the Ministry of Defense, was the Diwane-Ars. So the head of the army was the Diwane-Ars. He was responsible for the organization and the maintenance of the royal army. So his work is to look after the organization and to maintain the royal army and exercise disciplinary control over it. That means to maintain the army in a very disciplined manner. The department of the correspondence and record of the royal court was called the Diwane-Isa. It was held under the charge of a central minister, variously known as the Dabir-e-Mamlik, Dabir-e-Khas or Amir-e-Munsi. So the department of corresponding, that means their work is to keep the records of the royal court, whether that means how much land revenue has been collected, okay, how many weapons have been produced, how much food has been or you can say spent in this month. So all these works were under these people. Diwane-Risalat constitute the 4th pillar of the imperial administrative of the Sultan. So the 4th pillar is Diwane-Risalat. Under the period of slave dynasty, the head of the department was Sadur, who was primarily a minister for ecclesiastical affair, that means to look after the needs and requirement of the palaces. Next is Barid-e-Mamlik, intelligence and information, that means they were the person who were a very learned person. They know and they have lots of information and they are more intelligent. Wakile-Babrak, that means royal household, that means they will look after the palaces. Amir-e-Majlis, celebration and meeting, that means they are the department who will look after, for example, if Eid is being celebrated in the palace, so what are the different types of needs and requirements, these are all arranged by the Amir-e-Majlis. Amir-e-Sikhar, royal hunts, that means they will go in the forest and they will hunt. Kotwals, they were the Qazis of metropolis, that means Maulvis, etc. were other important officials of the time. So these are the different types of important officers during the Delhi Sultanate.